Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, people on YouTube. Hello, people on LinkedIn. So we are very happy to have all of you for one more month. My friend, this is becoming fast, right? It's
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. We finish one and there is another one. Yeah. So thanks for all of you joining us. It's amazing the size of the community we have. We are really, really excited to have you all here for this not session, but for this conversation. For those who are accessing on Zoom, we are following your comments here and questions. So if you have any question or comment, please use the Q&A. Do not use the chat because it's just impossible. We are just
possible.
us here. So we cannot track all the questions. So please write your question on the Q&A section and we'll be more than happy to answer it. Okay? So now let's jump into the business. So what we
Let's
will
go.
talk today. We'll give you some updates on what Antonio and I are doing. So we are working really a lot on what we are doing. The 2025 research that we are launching now today, okay? And what is in our radar, okay, for this month. So what is happening? We were talking offline before, but we'll share with you what we were thinking. So on the update side, the first thing is we finally managed to start our efforts with the corporate clients, and this is a part of our initiative to increase the awareness, but also on the corporate side. And we had, I would say, an amazing event with GSK that kick off this. So we are preparing, and they will have what, Antonio, about 22, right? Certified people joining the team. So it's a very, very nice
Big.
initiative. And now we are already talking to several others. And this is, we want just to make sure you are aware that we are now focusing a lot also on how we connect not only the individual project managers, but also the corporations on that. And we have a list that is amazing. We compiled the list of the companies that already participate, and it's something that we are very proud because we have people from on the certification and the masterclass. These are only the masterclass ones. From pretty much companies from everywhere, from pharma, from Google, Amazon, and these tech companies, always bringing some news for us. And another thing I want to announce to all of you is that together with this initiative, we are also releasing a consulting arm in AI. So this was a request that we received um, a lot, and now we are deciding to implement the consulting arm on specifically AI-driven project management. Okay, so this is a strategic AI consulting. Antonio, please let me give you the floor. Do you want to talk more about this part of our effort?
Sure. So it's very, very exciting today. We're launching this new strategic advisory practice for any what we've seen over the last year and a half that we've been doing this, Ricardo and I, is that companies are still struggling to use AI in their business, and especially on project and project management. There are security constraints, there are tool integration constraints, there's many constraints, and companies get stuck with that. And on top of that, there's no strategy behind, which is what's worrying, right? That's what we do. We define the strategy, we make a plan, we execute. So we're trying to execute without the strategy. So we thought that there was a need for some more high-level advisory strategy that we can provide to companies, small, medium-sized companies, especially on the area of on projects and strategy implementation. So anyone who is an expert in this field or has a need in this field, please reach out to us. We will be sharing more about what this means in practice, but I'm super excited, my friend. This is something
Yeah,
about that
yeah.
for
It's
months,
very
and now
nice.
it's
And,
happening.
this was in our plan, but we didn't have time. So now we said, look, we need to do that. And I just want to highlight briefly here. So it will be the strategy advisory. We'll talk about AI readiness. It's about how your organization is ready for AI. PMO and team enablement. So integration roadmap for project environment. So how do we align our delivery in project management with PMO practice, with frameworks and this? And also we are helping with this concept of vendor neutral guidance on AI tools, because we operate pretty much in all tools. And executive education and board engagement for these AI initiatives. So if you want to know more, it's already live and it's ready. So you can know on the QR code or PMAI Revolution on the consulting. And this will join our efforts on our masterclass number 8. So we did a new design for the masterclass, a new with this big 8 here, and it will be on July 29 and 30. Is already confirmed. Okay, we have a very nice cohort so far there, and what we did, it's we finally managed to get an extension of the coupon disruption for 2 more weeks until June 15. And one thing I want just to tell people is that people ask me, oh, how do I get a discount in this? Look, we try our best, but just remember, we do not own the full process. So for us to do the exam and the certification together with the masterclass, we need to agree with APMG, we need to agree with the provider of the proctoring exams, etc. So it's not very easy. So when we have these opportunities, please, if you want, do not miss it. Okay. So this is for the masterclass, but also for the same one for the certification and the same one for the bundle. So it's all of them using this disruption. And a final news here is all about our advisory training partners. And Antonio, I will move it to you now to introduce our second ATP or ATO authorized training organization. So ball to you.
Thank you, Ricardo. So yeah, you know that I think we are very, very conscious that two people cannot change and make people embrace AI. As you know, that's our goal, that the people feel comfortable doing projects using AI. That's our mission. And that's the training, the master class, all what we do. That's to help you all succeed using these new technologies, keep up to date, but we are very limited with time. So what we have been working on over the last 6 months is finding partners that think like us, that share the same vision, that understand that there's no way that you can do projects without knowing AI as in the next 6 months, right? This is going to be as essential as doing a WBS. In a project is going to be using AI. So we've been screening partners across the globe. The first one was with Provec that we announced last month. We're talking to several at the same time. It's not like we accept everyone. We need to have those conversations first, and then they need to follow a train the trainer session with Ricardo and me, 4, 5, 6 hours together. They need to pass the certification and the exam, and then they're ready to share the training. So Provec, for example, is delivering, I think it's this week or next week already, a training in the UK for a corporate client, and they have so we can reach more people and we can increase the network.
Yeah.
And the big news for today is that last week, we signed up with another very, very important partner called QRP International. And very glad because it's for coming. The QRP is based in Italy, but they have ramifications in France, in Belgium, in the Netherlands, and we had the trainer session last week. One of the members had followed our master class, so that was already really positive. She talked very positive about it. So now we have maybe 10 people that can train the master class. So this is really great for Ricardo and I to ensure the quality, but we reach more people. And I think Michelangelo was going to join us today. He's the CEO of QRP.
Let me bring him in. I saw him here. Let me bring him in just a second.
We wanted to invite him to just that you know him and that he shares a bit his why AI in project management. These companies have been training for decades, so they know what are the needs in their work.
Michelangelo is joining as panelist. Just a second.
Thank you.
But what is important, Antonio said one thing, it's important for us to. Hi, Michelangelo, how are you?
Michelangelo.
Hi, Antonio. Hi, Ricardo. Very fine. Thank you.
So Michelangelo, we wanted to invite you just to celebrate first. We'll do more activities, but we wanted to introduce you to our community in Zoom. There's people following in LinkedIn and YouTube. So if you don't mind, just briefly talk about you and QRP and why, especially why you think AI and project management is critical, or what's your point of view? Thank you, Michelangelo.
Thank you very much, Antonio. Ricardo.
From Italy.
Yes, our purpose is developing professionals to facilitate change. And we believe that this will be the next disruptive change in the business environment. Personally, I'm always curious about the labor market, what are the skills in demand, what will be the next challenges, and how we can help develop professionals to face all of these changes. Now, all reports, all studies talk about AI, increasing demand. AI, big data are among the top 5 skills area expected to grow most by 2030, according to the World Economic Forum. That's why we strongly believe that project managers will be asked in their business environment to leverage their AI capabilities. That's why we are really excited to start the collaboration with you to bring the knowledge to the project managers. And as I always say, training is the starting point. So I really want to, with our organization, to share knowledge with project managers so that they can start leveraging better AI in their organization or in their daily job.
Thank you, Michelangelo. Can you tell us a bit more about QRP? Where are you? I know you're in Italy, but where do you usually train, operate, just for people that they know a bit more about the company?
Well, QRP is based in Italy, but we are operative in the Benelux, France, Switzerland, and Italy. We are mainly focused on best practices and certifications. We started our journey more than 20 years ago with the project management and Prince2. So we cover most of the training on this topic, PMP, Prince2, Agile PM, and other best practice in project management. And for us, training and learning is a continuous journey. That's why we believe that AI is the next learning journey that all project managers need to face in the next months and years. We are specialized also in delivering training in local languages. So what we can offer to this collaboration to Antonio and Ricardo, also our proficiency in Italian, French, Dutch, German, so all of our trainers could be able to deliver training in local languages.
Amazing.
Fantastic, because this is one of our main objectives now with this I would say, more global approach is to translate also the exam into different languages to give access to other people. Yeah. But look, Michelangelo, thank you very much for
Thank
the
you.
partnership. Thank you for being such an amazing partner, and I'm sure we will make a lot of difference in the AI environment. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Michelangelo. And we'll organize a more content webinar together. So we'll
Oh,
monitor
absolutely.
everyone. Yeah. So thank you,
Yes.
Michael. I put the
Thank you,
website
Raj.
on the chat if you want to check it
Thanks.
out. Thank you, Michelangelo. Have a nice weekend. Thank you for
Thank
joining.
You
you.
too.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
And Ricardo, the last thing on the partnership is that we are, as you know, very excited about two discussions we're having. One with China.
Yes, we are. I was about to say that. So
Yeah.
we are very well prepared because look, more partners are coming, and these partners will be big ones. And why I'm saying big ones, because they can really help us to reach the revolution point we want to reach. Okay, so this will be something big coming, and we are working around the clock to make this happen, right? Not easy, but we are working a lot on that.
Perfect.
My,
Yeah,
my
and
dear friend,
go
Antonio,
ahead. Yeah.
let's talk about the research, Antonio. This
So
is
yeah, that's
another project.
another big important area for us that I think all of you make this happen. So this is not just us. We hope that you participate, but you all hope that you learn and share. So we did one survey. Let me just share from here.
Yeah, yeah, you can share, my friend, you can share here. Yeah.
So exactly 2 years ago, we did the first research on AI and project management globally. Even before PMI and APM and the PAG, or we wanted to understand what was going on, and if people were afraid of losing their jobs in projects, and if people were seeing benefits. So this was, I think, something that really set the scene for other research that happened later. But for us, it was like opening eyes, and you can still download the white paper if you don't have it on our website. So this, of course, gave us good insights, and here's a small summary: recognition of the potential, fear of AI job takeover was not very high, at least in the short term. Definitely a big improvements in delivery. The skills adaptation was one of the highlights. People need to adapt very quickly, sustainability, ethics, and so on. So what we have been thinking, this is not from last week. Ricardo and I have been talking about this for maybe 3 months. We need to do the research. We need to do the research, but there's so many things to do. But finally, we found the time to nail it. So you can scan it right now, and you will be able to complete the 25 questions. I think it's not too heavy, but everyone that delivers or joins and participates will get the copy. And I think we're going to do also give 2 spots free, Ricardo, right?
Yeah, let me explain to you. So first, what we want is to really we love the concept of what changed, what is next, and what is at stake. And there is one question that we want try to answer out of the different sections of this. It's okay. How afraid or happy should we be with the future of AI in project management? And this is a topic that is now Antonio will share some of the thoughts on that. I will share too in a minute. But we need your help. And what we decided to do, we will do a drawing among everyone that answered the survey that want to participate. We will draw 2 spots for the next masterclass. And why we are doing this? Because for us, it's critical that you all help us to reach the maximum number of people for this because we really want to make a big difference on that. And if we have 10 people, it will not be enough to make any conclusion. So we really want people to have the most honest answer to help us on that. And we are providing these 2 free spots really to create an incentive for people to spend, I would say, maybe 5 or 10 minutes sharing their perceptions on this. And please, I will share this on social media just after this talk. You will hear this on my newsletter, Antonio's newsletter. Please do not miss. So it's an opportunity for us. This report will be made available for free, okay? For free. So this is not a paid report. It's a free report for all of us to benefit, okay? So please make sure you help us to reach the maximum amount of project managers to get their perspective, right?
Yeah, and here's a bit of the big things that we're looking: adoption and integration. Like Ricardo, we want to see, has anything changed in the last 2 years? How much? Where? Business benefits. So have we seen already some benefits, right? What are skills? Workforce. This is the future of work. What are the implications beyond projects? This is bigger trends, the value for the organization, and then even further long-term trends. So it's all just very exciting topics, and I love research, Ricardo, too. So we can't wait to see the results in a month and start sharing that and adapting to that. But very exciting. Again, you can scan it here, and thank you for the support already in advance. Thank you.
And of course, we will do, when it's ready, we will do a full webinar, Antonio and I, not this monthly webinar that is much less formal, a full 1-hour webinar just about the results of this survey, okay? So please do not miss. Again, this is part of our commitment to make things happen, okay? This is not business. This is really something we really want to provide to the community.
Back to you, Ricardo.
Okay, so now it's time for the fun part. What is in my radar, right? So let me start, and then Antonio will go to his radar. So the first thing I want to share with you, it's something that it's in my mind, and it's what happened 1 month ago about the satellite images showing Ukraine damaging the Russian bombers, right? We saw all of this. And of course, this is not to talk about the war, but this made me think a lot about what is competitive advantage in a super hyper volatile world. And I try to summarize and say, look, what I want to share with you, it's much more a quote. And this quote, I created this quote, and I want you to think about that. And the quote is this one: amid extreme volatility, it's not advantage, but adaptability that determines who thrives. And why I want you to, if you want to take a photo of this and share this thought, because we are living in a world with such a dramatic volatility in all aspects. Antonio and I, we were discussing before that, advantage that you currently have can just disappear. And why that example I said about the bombers is so, we are talking about a $300 drone destroying $100 million bombers. It's something that is unprecedented, and it's changing all the concept about defense, war, and this. And in the AI world, it's the same. Maybe tomorrow, a new player comes in and just dominates everything. For example, we see tools appearing now. For example, I did a webinar specifically on that recently, and Manus, for example, the Chinese app, I'm using probably as much as ChatGPT all the time. And so the advantage is something that is very relative, and we need to keep this in mind. And we need to keep in mind, and please, this is, I'm talking to myself and I'm talking to all of you, adaptability. We need to think about adaptability. This is why Antonio and I, we are 24 times 7 thinking what we can do better, what we can do different, what we are not saying, oh, we have advantage because we have the certification that is not close to 350, not close to 375, but it's very close to 400. Okay, we didn't announce because we don't have the numbers, the final numbers yet, but and this, of course, this gives us some assurance, but it does not give us the comfort of saying, oh, now we are in a good position to I would say, to make this revolution. This is why we always need to adapt. And this image is like a big ship, sometimes hard to turn, and how we can become agile and adaptable to survive in this turbulent water. So think about that. And on the same note, I saw two infographics that all showed me how the future will look like. And this is from, you can see the QR code here on your right. But the biggest industries of tomorrow, look, e-commerce, AI, cloud, electric vehicles, digital ads, semiconductors, autonomous vehicles. Did you see what is happening? Pretty much, this is a study of McKinsey, pretty much all industries are tech-related industries. All industries are creating a potential. We are talking about 20 trillion. We are talking about AI with 4.6 trillion. So this is a massive, so imagine the projects here. So we need to think about this changing component, because the nature of the work we are doing is changing in a dramatic. And these, look, don't think 2040 is too far away. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. We are in the middle of 2025. I remember yesterday was the day that I saw ChatGPT for the first time. Okay? So this is just to give you an idea of that. The second one is AI versus human performance. This is amazing, because this also will help some of the thoughts of Antonio that Antonio will share. But take a look on what is happening. Image, okay? Image from 2012, only at 2015 they got human capability. But look, PhD level science, in something like less than a year, 9 months, it reached it. So what is happening? What is the movement? We see this movement. It means much, much shorter learning from these devices. Much, much shorter learning. What do I mean by that? It's OpenAI releases something, and in 3 months, it will reach a human performance. And this is already making a massive wave. Sam Altman not last week, early this week, today's Friday, so early this week, said that 100% pretty much of all publicity work next year will be done by AI. Dario Amodei from Anthropic said that 95% of the code will be developed by AI by the end of next year. So it's just amazing and incredible, powerful numbers. And this creates a lot of question for us. It's what will happen when AI can do and can decide on project management topics. how these will be, right? It's something that we need to keep in our radar. And this is why, for example, you will see on the research that we are asking you a lot of questions about exactly this point. My last point here, it's last week I did a webinar first to all that participated. I'm very thankful. It was, I did with LinkedIn, and we had, I think, something like 12 or 1300 people attending, where I demonstrated to you the concept of agents. I want to invite you to go back, take a look on LinkedIn or my YouTube channel for that, because I demonstrate Napkin, Notebook LM, Manus, OpenAI, O3, Gamma, and Crew AI. And I saw Pascal here saying that he's hooked on Napkin. I'm also in love about the visual representation, how easy is Napkin, and why I'm telling you to pay attention on these names that are on the screen now, because they are the next wave of what is coming. They are the shape of next wave. If you have never used Notebook LM, the time to start is now, today. If you have never used Manus, the time is absolutely now. Please make sure, because this is like the second or the third generation of what is coming, and it has a lot of the taste and feel of what I said on this slide, the taste of feel on how powerful and how thoughtful. For example, Notebook LM, for those who do not know, Notebook LM does not hallucinate. Why? Because it only uses the sources you put for it to analyze. It does not make up names or make up things. It uses your data. So it's a very different approach that will be very helpful when you need to consolidate ideas. So this is on my radar. And Antonio, my friend, ball to you now to go on your radar. Okay?
Sure, I have a few other points of view
Sure.
I like to share. So let me just go to my also on the big trends, which I think that those are very scary. Let me just make sure I put this on. Oh, sorry. Where is this?
You are on, yes, you need to go back to your, I see it's on the
You see my
below.
screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Here it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me put the time. Now you see it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So this was like a week ago, I think. Yeah, May. Anthropic CEO warns AI could wipe out 1 of 2 white-collar jobs in the next 5 years, and and that's scary, because I think in many industries there's only white-collar jobs, right? So many of the blue collar have been already taken over by robots and AI. So what's next? Maybe this time it's for real that AI agents and these new technologies will have a big impact. And my concern is getting prepared for that. So if we're going to be asked to leave the companies that we work for, what is next for us, right? So can we work as freelancers? Ricardo was showing that there's going to be hundreds and thousands of projects. So I think the profession of project management will be needed, but we will need to evolve. We need to use AI as well. We need to learn how to use other technologies. So when I read this, and these people know what they're talking, maybe they're a bit always extremists, but they are not far, maybe 1 out of 3. That's already a massive amount of change. And I think the people that will stay in job will be those that can use AI. So if you don't have any skills on AI, if you cannot use any of the tools, you say, no, I want to do the things as usual. I think those people have bigger chances to be replaced. But I just want to share the sense of urgency. This is not to
Yeah, Antonio, I cannot agree more with you. You know, and don't think for those who are watching this that Antonio and I we are relaxed because we're using AI and no, we are not. We are not, okay? At least I am not. Because I think every time I think, oh, there's still room to work on it. And then AI comes and say, no, 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 AI can do that too. And then I say, oh God, okay, so I can do that. So we again, we will see. And this is one of the reasons why we created all this effort. We will see probably the most massive change in the workforce we haven't seen since the end of the Second World War. Okay, so it's big, and
it's
it's
huge.
big. Okay, it's very big.
Another news that struck me, this is Klarna. This is a Scandinavian company. And the way I see more and more companies is measuring how much employees revenues bring. So this is a company that has maybe 100 people. They make 100 million revenue. So they calculate 1 million per revenue, per employee. So it's a kind of a KPI that companies are starting to use more and more. So I think you can already make the calculations in your company, right? How many people are we, and are we bringing each of us 1 million or 500,000? And how much it can be enhanced with AI. So I think this is something that we all need to reflect as well, is what's the value that we bring and how can we duplicate that? We do it on smaller scale, for sure. Ricardo and I, with our businesses, with the work we do with AI, masterclass, LinkedIn learning. So we can clearly see that 2 or 3 times multiplication of what we used to do 5 years ago. Now we can do much more. But this is going to be a KPI that I think is going to be coming very visible, very important in companies, showing the efficiency gains through AI and the employee contribution to the top line, which are the revenues. So another kind of, you can see the trends going there. And then if we talk about the jobs that will be replaced, then there's another personally worrying situation, having kids, and then just seeing what's coming next, right? So we've seen that AI can do the most basic task already in many jobs. And that's the basic task that we were learning when we started to work. And that gives us a bit of understanding of the basics. But if you remove that from the career development, the growth of younger generations, what's next for these younger people? How are they going to be able to join the market and learn as we did, or learn differently? So it's coming from all over the place. That's what I wanted to share with you today, is not just one entry. It can affect from within project management, from strategy, from global, from the bottom with juniors. And it's just we need to be extra aware and extra adaptive, like Ricardo was saying.
Yeah, Antonio, let me just add one thing. I truly love one concept that I learned on the AI for Everyone course that Coursera has. That is, by the way, amazing. And they were saying that, you know, imagine that professional career is a ladder, okay, that you go from the beginning up to the top. What is happening when I see the slide and the feeling that is that we are destroying the first steps of the ladder. So this ladder, and my question is, how young people will get to that, how will be the pace for you to get, because AI will not replace now I would say the doctor that is super expert in something, but it will replace the junior, maybe resident, that is doing something to help someone that is helping this doctor. So this is something that I'm a little bit, honestly, really afraid. But thanks for bringing this, Antonio. Back to you.
Yeah, and I think I'm almost done, and we can. And the last thing, I always like to share one video that struck me. So this one was also very recent. And let me see if it plays. Up. Oh,
It's saying codec unavailable.
Oh, let me see if I can bring it up from here. 1 second, because I think these are things that are just so unbelievable that I just get shocked every time I see the things. Oh, no,
Yeah,
it's not
look,
working.
maybe you can show directly from the video,
Yeah, let me
Antonio.
go to the video.
Yeah,
and
just open, and
I have it
maybe
here.
do that.
Yeah, let me show you the video here where it is. 1 second.
So while you were looking to this, I will quickly. Oh, okay. Did you find your video? Because we have several questions here. So,
Here it
for
is.
example, George. Oh, okay. Right.
Let me just go to the video quickly, and then we can. I have 2 more things, and then.
Need a talking head video, but don't.
Let me share. It's a minute video. I just need to share my whole screen.
Okay. Pascal wants to know how many tabs do you have open.
Here's how to generate one in
Same
under
time.
5 minutes without gear, lighting, or filming anything. You type in a script, choose an actor, and Mirage Studio generates a clean, expressive video. This isn't for cinematic work, but for ads, product demos, explainer videos, and landing pages. It's fast, and it scales. You get 90% of the impact without 90% of the production for marketers, founders, or anyone scaling content without a production team. Mirage Studio, built for scale.
So I've not tried personally the application, but when I got this link, I saw, wow, everybody that you saw here is AI. Everybody. So imagine, I think we're not going to be able to find out what is real and what's not very soon. I don't know how we're going to be doing, especially when we're working virtually. You see this lady, it just, and the way she talks and the voice and the gestures. So I think there are things that the human beings are not ready to understand yet. And I think that's going to be also an area where we need to do big changes. I just don't know what are the big changes coming there. But we'll see. And the last point, and then we move to questions. I think regardless of the tools that we share in the masterclass, the notebook, LM, napkin, Lovable, I think it's great that we learn to use that, but don't also disregard going deeper in some of the tools. Like if you like Gemini or Claude, or I'm more into the ChatGPT, but explore further. The prompting is something that's going to disappear. So go into creating your own GPTs. We spend time in the masterclass to show you how to, and see how the GPT is learning over time. This one I use for project assessments, and it's learned so much. I asked him, what did you learn in the last month working with me around projects, the projects that you've been assessing? So I think that is also a skill that we highly recommend. The coding. Now you all can code, so don't be afraid and say, ChatGPT, help me code a dashboard. And I'll put it in Python or in Google script, but go beyond. Yeah, we're not going to do that here because this is part of the masterclass. But I think use all those tools, but go deep in some of them, because are different skills that you need to learn and build a foundation. And I think that was it. I wanted to just share that I have my first LinkedIn course in Spanish. So I was very happy to that. There will be more, but
Right.
It's always English, 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 and now finally one in Spanish. There will be 6 more coming soon, but thank you for that. And that's all.
My friend Antonio, great to see you with LinkedIn, and it's really amazing also to help people on that. But honestly, I need to say I never saw you so reflective as this month about AI because
Yeah, it's deep.
yeah, usually I am the one saying this, right? Usually I am the one saying, look, things are quite odd, but yeah, but thanks for the honesty. Look, we have a few questions before we close. So first, George, are there any changes to the AIPM exam? No, we haven't changed it yet. We will change, but we are adapting some of the questions. The exam will never change. Okay, the exam. What will change is we will add questions about, for example, agents. Now we are adding some questions about agents, some questions about this trend, this volatility, about, for example, multi-agents, how you can have like Creo AI and this. But remember, for those who are candidates, if we do that, we will add the lessons and the content on the platform for you to study. Okay, so don't be afraid. But remember, for those who are on the pipeline to certify, please just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it. Get the benefit. Get the benefit of having this ready. Do you take the next one, Antonio?
Yeah, let me go to the questions here.
Okay.
So who did you do, which types? Andre, which type of projects stand to benefit the most from AI integration? I assume that waterfall projects. Andre, great question. I think both of them. I think we have one guest that comes regularly to our class called Colin, who has a Scope Master, and this one is specifically for agile projects and very much IT projects. And they have this software AI-driven tool that helps on the user stories and the scoping, and it's quite advanced for AI agile projects. And of course, waterfall. Yes, we spent a lot of time scoping, planning, scheduling. Another guest in our masterclass. You'll find all these videos in the Teachable. A student from mine, Cecil, he did Ofolio, and that one is more on the WBS and scheduling. And you cannot do these plans in like 5 minutes instead of 5 weeks. So it's affecting a bit everything. Great question, Andre. Thank you.
Tanja, do you have any insights or experience in how AI is seen and adapted to differently in the US versus Europe versus China? Yes, of course. US and Europe are, I would say, more aligned in terms of tools. The tools are very similar. Europe is more rigid on, I would say, on the regulation, I would say, to avoid misuse. The US is, I would say, more open, okay, to the freedom of the platform. So each of them has advantages and disadvantages. And China, usually what we see is China is very concerned about using AI that is outside China. Okay, so most of the time they have like DeepSeek. It's like, please, for the sake of a better word, it's like a clone of ChatGPT or Gemini. I'm not saying it's a copy because I don't have competence to say that, but that does exactly the same. So now Manus is, I would say, in some ways a little bit similar to Notebook LM, but it's a different and a niche. And by the way, an excellent. Try it. But one commonality on all of them is that there is a race that goes above and beyond AI. Because if we go back to what Antonio said about jobs and this, who dominates that will have, I would say, an advantage on the top of others. This is why this is a political race too, that we need to be very mindful, because who controls that will have a massive, incredible amount of power over the future of work. okay?
You can do the next one, Ricardo.
I know.
about agents.
Speaking of agents, have you heard of agentic workflow builders such as N8N? Yes, Gerald, N8N and Krill AI. The Krill AI that I put and I showed on the office hours is a competitor of N8N, and what they do is they are multi-agent process. So it's like a set of, imagine you having a set of different workers doing one. You want to do a PowerPoint, the other one you want to do a calculation, the other one is to do a research, and you combine all of them. This is Krill AI and N8N, and this is a very business to business approach. For example, you can automate a whole PMO process using NHN. Of course, I haven't seen that, no company so far using that, but the potential is there, and maybe very soon in the future we will see that. Okay, Antonio, back to you.
Yeah, and on the agents, I know some of the tools that we share. What I'm trying to follow up as well is with ChatGPT. I'm working with ChatGPT to create an agent, and you can talk to and say, I want a ChatGPT to create like a LinkedIn article every morning at 8 a.m. based on the latest news around projects, and almost there's one step that ChatGPT cannot do, but out of the others. So don't, again, back to what I was saying, try to also develop some detailed skills in one of these tools. It will help you. And they change so fast that they think they copy each other as well. So you start seeing functionality from there in the other one. So it's just interesting to keep. Suela, thank you, Suela, for the question. This is, I think there is a bit of hope here in the question when we talk about this topic, is that the fear that AI will replace human roles and make them obsolete, and that this will not fully happen. This is part of the research that we just launched today to find out a bit more. But the balance between automation and human value evolving, and that's where the hope plays a role, saying, oh, we all hope that there will be still a place, that it will go slow, and that some of the things that we do will never. But when you hear when you saw the chart of Ricardo and how quickly one of these tools can become a PhD, and I think we should be also a bit extremist in the thinking, what if AI will replace our job? What would I do? So just put yourself in that situation and see what else can I do, so that it's a bit like risk management, doing risk management on our jobs, on the profession, on our personal ambitions and think. Hopefully we'll not go to that extreme, but maybe this is something we can do in one of our master class, a bit of an exercise to see what can we do if our jobs get completely wiped away. It's maybe another topic for one of these calls or the master class.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have an answer. I just know to think about it.
Yeah, it's hard. Okay, it's hard. This let me just go quickly into some of the questions I see here. First, I saw here Ricardo said, Ricardo and Antonio, can you talk about AI and the actual increase of VR and AR, augmented reality and virtual reality? So this is all combining. What we see is that there is a big trend on I would say physical AI is what I'm talking. It's the combination of AI with physical things that you can touch, that you can use, like your fridge, like your TV, and like your Google's, for example, that would empower your ability. Google I/O released one, and there was a video that I posted on LinkedIn that is amazing. The lady just flipped the head, and then she asked, "What's the name of the book?" It was impossible to see, but the AI glass saw it and said, "This is the book." Okay, it was Atomic Habits from James Taylor, and this is just a big trend. Okay, a big trend. Helen, is there a scorecard to evaluate AI tools like Gardner under the structured set of attributes and functionalities? And not public, but for example, in the masterclass, we have a Goche, and she has a tool that she shares with the students, her students, about a framework to evaluate different tools with the lowest possible bias, okay, on that. Antonio.
So I have here Marcius.
Okay.
It's more a comment. There's some ways to help your organization have the culture adapted to the reality of using generative artificial intelligence. Even so, some in top management only say that they accept it because it's a new approach. I think generally the adoption of AI is a cultural thing, absolutely the leadership thing. You're taking more risk than usual, so that's where I see that companies struggle is we're bringing a new technology that nobody knows what is going to happen. But if you block that, then you don't develop that new culture, which should be about entrepreneurship, innovation, and constant trying new things. So I think definitely, Marcius, this is a culture issue. We talk about this in the master class too, is how can we address that from a top-down approach? And we try to train people how to have that conversation with the leaders. Thank you, Marcius.
Marcius, Antonio, may I just say a quote that is in my mind recently? It's from Upton Sinclair, and it's exactly about that. The quote is, "It's difficult to make a man understand something when his salary depends above all on his not understanding it." So when your salary, when people's salary is directly impacted by that change, the first thing you want is that the change does not happen, right? It's normal. I think we have room just for one last one, Antonio. Do you want to take this last one?
Well, I have one from our good friend, Toran.
Toran,
Good
yeah.
to see you, Toran. How can we encourage new graduates of the young generation where to embrace AI when they feel it's not for them? So, yeah, I think I would be worried when a young generation person doesn't want to use AI. I think it's common more on the senior people and more experienced, but young, I associate that directly to experimenting and digital native. And so I don't know. I don't know, Toran. I've not come across, but definitely these are the people that need to adopt AI faster than the more seniors. So there's something to be done there, Toran. Maybe one for your LinkedIn newsletter.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I haven't seen too much on that. What I see mostly is not on young people. It's the older generation that is a little bit more resistant. Look, it's time to go. But before we go, let me just remember, look, use the coupon disruption up to the middle of the month. And we are put everything on sale. Remember one thing, most of the resources we make from this goes for the research, goes for other things, goes to make this webinar happens and everything. So if you can support us, and see you all next month with more news, okay? And Antonio, more reflections on what is going on. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much. Stay well. Enjoy your weekend. Have a wonderful month of June, all of you, okay? Stay well.
Have a nice weekend.